Peace and blessings to the whole house. What's up to the book people? You know, who are the book people, you might ask? The book people is number one, the kingdom of the Israelites, but number two, it's those folks in the United States of America, those people that came over in transatlantics, and the people that was already here. There was brothers and sisters before the destruction. There was brothers and sisters before the Father separated them, as he said he was throughout his book, and they still brothers and sisters to this day. But it's not just the brothers and sisters here. Let's make it clear. It's the whole diaspora wherever he said he sent them. But our focus is on the brothers and sisters that are here. And it's not to say that we don't love our sisters and brothers in Brazil, in the Caribbean, those that might be still stuck off in somewhere in South America, those that are stuck in Europe, those that are also stuck in Asia and East Asia, and also those that are stuck in the land of Cham, aka Ham, that you would consider Hamites. Greetings to you all, family. Also, greetings to my sister. I want to say hello to my sister, Wise Society. What's going on, sis?
Nothing but this heat, Greetings to everyone. Thank you again for coming and sharing this information now. It's very important that we stay focused. But otherwise, I'm doing really good. Thanks for
Yes.
asking.
Yes. You said heat. When you say heat, well, first thing I think about is the heat that you're gonna give out, not
That's right.
necessarily the heat. So when I hear you say he said, hey, she gonna come and she gonna burn the big bad wolf come to huff and puff and blow your house down. No, this sister gonna huff and puff and she gonna burn your house down.
That's right.
House of the Snakes, you don't notice y'all getting burned up right now. Speaking of burning, we was backstage talking. We was backstage talking about how they was lying and saying, "Oh yeah, 1,000 Europeans done died in this heat wave, and they don't even know what it is. They don't know what to call it. But 1,000 of us done perished over here in Europe because it's so goddamn hot. Huh? What's going on, sis? Can you explain?
Right.
Can you explain to them what's going on with that heat? And then we
And
show a
it's
video. Explain what's going on.
Look, and the numbers continue to change, right? First they said 1,000,
Huh.
then they said, well, 2,000 over a period of time. And then we turn to another news from India, and it's over 20,000.
Huh.
So, brother C, I think that when we have been having the Descendants Weekly Live, people are taking the pronouncements and judgments seriously,
Hmm.
right? So somebody who's watching, we saw it last week. We brought it up where um, was able to pronounce whatever it was that had to fall upon Ghana, and now we can look at Europe and see over 20,000 people perished in a heat wave.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Hmm.
they can call it what they want to call it, a heat
Hmm.
dome, a heat wave, a climate change, global warming. Look, time's up. Okay. Your time is up. It's over.
I heard some fool. I say thou fool. I heard some fool yesterday. He called it a heat mountain, and I never heard. This is a heat mountain.
So wait, you got to climb it. Like, at what temperature do you start climbing and when do you stop? Come on, y'all.
Hey,
Come on.
listen. Well. Um, first of
Wait
all
a minute.
praise to
Wait
the
a minute.
Father. Go
Wait a
ahead,
minute,
sir.
brother C. Wait a minute.
Go
We
ahead.
gonna start out. And you
Uh-huh.
guys know me and my brother C, we are joyous laughter. You so prepare to laugh and take notes.
Yes.
But are you saying to me, because a mountain, I'm just trying to get the image, and now that the image is
There you go.
now that this
I need to
image is stuck in my head, I
I
need to
wish I
figure
had that
out.
video. I watch so many videos because I'll be using that to get wisdom and knowledge on the stuff we're going to talk about. And I'm heavy into the geopolitics, but it came up on my mind, to my timeline, and this fool said, "Yeah, they're experiencing a heat mountain." Now, you remember when the numbers first came out, right? They were saying, "Oh yeah, it's only 1,000 total." No, it was 1,000 a day. So since they've been having it, and see, if they report 20,000, What's the real number?
What is the real number?
Well, what is it? So we gonna go ahead and play this video, since unless you got something else to add on to it.
No, I was just trying to figure out what is a heat mountain, first of all?
The white man said it was a heat mountain. I was like,
No,
I
they
said,
think
well,
they can just say whatever they want to say.
okay, so since you asked, I'm a reason with you. All right. The book say, let us reason together somewhere. Y'all find that precept. Hey, so
That's
listen,
not
okay, so
reasonable. That's not reasonable.
no, I'm gonna make it make sense to you.
No, you're not. No, you're not. It's not gonna
I'm gonna
make
try.
sense.
I'm gonna try. So just imagine that you wherever you at right now, and you take a mountain and you put it over where you at, but then the mountain is invisible in its heat.
No,
You can't reason.
so you know what that
can't
sound
reason
like
that.
to me? That sound like to me a long time ago in a far, far away land. You know how they do. There
Hey,
was
listen.
a prince that kissed the frog. Some silly stuff like that.
Hey,
Mhm.
I got a vivid imagination, and I can
Mm-mm.
almost imagine, but it had to be something that I wrote though. You see what I'm saying? You know where I'm going. So
Right.
I'm sitting up here crying because the fool said a heat mountain. That's gonna forever be going to ever forever be something fantastic that you see in a fantasy show. So let's go
So,
ahead and
so
go
did
ahead.
did so next they gonna say that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego done climbed up the heat mountain and made it to the other side. You know, don't get don't get me started
No,
on
no,
sea.
no, no. The flood was a water mountain.
Right? No, no,
All right,
absolutely
I'm gonna
not.
stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm in one of the moves where laughter is good, and I've gotten some good laughs. I've been so focused on the stuff I've been working on, so it's good to laugh.
Right.
So we're gonna
It's
play
good to
this
laugh.
video. It is good. Hey, shalom to the family that's out there. I'm Blue 365 and Bidia Yashra. Hopefully I pronounced that right, sis. But I'm an old head, so can't charge that to my head and not my heart. Shalom to you folks that's out there, and shalom to the family that's out there listening, sneak listening. The enemies
Mm.
that's out there listening. Shalom to you. Hope you get a good plate of yeah, that makes sense. And then you go research, and then you say to yourself, oh man, we are damned. I hope you say that to yourself, enemy. You say that to yourself. Yes, you are. Because yes, you are. The Father gonna get you because he said in his book he was gonna get you. So let's go ahead and play this video. Hopefully, I let me stop sharing because you know what I typically do, right? I'll typically share something and I won't have everything set up, and y'all be saying, "Hey, brother, see, we could see the video, but where's the sound?" And that's how I was set up just
Mm.
now. So I'm gonna go back and set it up. So tell me if you can hear.
The news are silent,
I
invisible.
can hear it.
Okay, cool. We're gonna go ahead and play this out there. It's only a couple of minutes.
Steering through the European continent, a bombshell new study reveals the true terrifying scale of a climate catastrophe that has caught major cities entirely off guard. We look at the absolute chaos on the ground, the collapsing infrastructure, and the grim data redefining Europe's summer.
The rush begins before the shutters are fully raised. In Paris, anxious shoppers push through store entrances, racing to grab air conditioners before shelves are emptied. Staff struggle to control the crowds as soaring temperatures trigger a buying frenzy across Europe. The scramble inside stores tells only part of the story. A new study that is yet to be peer-reviewed claims the unprecedented European heat wave has already claimed more than 20,000 lives. Christopher Callahan from Indiana University. Bloomington estimates 2,390 heat-related deaths across Europe between June 22nd and 28th. Data from European governments shows that June temperatures climbed above 35 degrees Celsius for more than two-thirds of Europe's population, exposing hundreds of millions of people to prolonged and dangerous heat. Belgium recorded a 39% spike in deaths during the June heat wave. France reported a 30% increase in deaths over the same period. Europe's heat wave tragically demonstrates the need for air conditioning.
It's about 20% of EU homes have air conditioning versus about 90% in the United States. And really, this crisis of the extreme heat that we're seeing this summer and also in past summers, and we will continue to see, is really a kind of a heat mountain that the EU was never designed to climb. We've seen just in the past 4 years over 200,000 deaths from extreme heat.
It's not just homes. Germany's Farming Association warns that relentless heat and dry conditions are damaging grain harvests, raising concerns over food production if the weather persists. The landscape itself is changing. Wildfires are tearing through parts of Spain and France, forcing firefighters into a race against fast-moving flames. In southern France alone, around 3,000 people have been evacuated as fires spread through dry vegetation, driven by scorching temperatures and strong winds. Scientists say Europe is warming faster than almost every other continent, making extreme heat waves more frequent, more intense, and longer lasting. For millions of Europeans, this is no longer just another hot summer. It is becoming a test of how societies, cities, and healthcare systems survive when extreme heat becomes the new normal.
All right.
Well, you got your heat mountain
Well,
example.
I must have been watching that guy, and they have the Negro. He looked like a Negro, but I don't know what nationality or what race, what he really was. But they had him spouting that, talking about the heat mountain, and that may have been the video that I actually saw where he was saying that. So I apologize for calling the guy a fool. I thought it was. He sounded like a white dude because I was only listening to the audio. So I apologize to the brother for that, and hopefully, look at this guy.
He said he's
Hopefully,
sneak listening right now.
look at this guy. Hey, police officer, if you see this guy, arrest him on sight. Because I know he doesn't commit a heinous act against humanity. This one right here that's on the screen right now. Hey, shalom, brother. Hope you're well, man. Hope you're doing well.
Shalom, brother Najee. Look, he got a tool in his hand. Didn't we tell everybody to pick up a weapon and a tool?
Yeah, well, he got that special tool. He'll hit you over the head with it. You come here acting a fool.
That's right.
So that video is telling in a sense that we could do a whole show just on that, because your ability to pronounce, you go see what the book says about the power of the tongue. Now, who does that apply to? Who does it apply to when the book says, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold? And the pastor told you that was a bad thing. Is it not a good thing that you have said to yourself that, hey, you know what? Because y'all are so wicked as hell, I'm no longer going to love you. Since you're so wicked as hell, I'm no longer going to pray for you. Since you killing my people in the streets, hanging them, running them over, shooting them down, saying we can't go here, we can't go here, I no longer love you. Stop going by what Christianity taught you about what the books say and don't say. It hit differently when you're an Israelite. It operates differently in the spiritual realm and manifests differently when an Israelite is speaking it. You mean to tell me that delineation don't mean that your love don't wax cold for your enemies? Ask the Asians. The Asians been disrespecting you since they've been here. Yep. And what has this boycott done to their pocketbook? They got Chinese restaurants and hair places shutting down all over the earth. Tell me the Go ahead, sis.
No, I saw a little picture. You know how people do image quote cards and all of that stuff for social media. And the other day, I was just browsing, and I saw a picture card that said that Black Americans are the most hateful, racist, and supremacist people on earth. and
And don't
I
control a goddamn thing on earth right now. And
wait a
they the most.
minute. and and I'm looking through
Silly
the
ass.
comments. This is the silliness that's out here right now, though. We have
Silly.
to be very discerning on what we're going to spend our energy on. But I decided that day to go through the comments because there was a lot of likes and comments on it. People like and comment on silly stuff like that, but won't, try to get educated with knowledge. And I saw all of the comments, and it was just really, they didn't have any facts to back what they were saying. They just want to go where their ears can be filled with nonsense and agree with one another, cheer each other on, right?
Yes, yes. You
And
know who
so
that
to
sound? That
think,
sound like the MAGA code. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well,
That sound
I
like the
mean,
MAGA code.
even if you just think about it, I mean, we were talking about this before. To think that at one point, the same people that are over here sneering and cheering are the ones that are so-called in roles of authority and in power in American society, supposed to be credible, supposed to be the ones that do it because I say so without question. And they're nothing but fools, right? They're nothing but fools. They have no credible information. Everything that they speak and practice is a lie.
Yes. Yes. 100%. 100%.
Hmm.
And see what they you know who's good for doing that is the fuse.
Yeah.
The fuse will destroy a whole group of people and say that, okay, we destroying them because they was getting ready to destroy us, so we gonna go ahead and destroy them before they could get to us. Everything that they say is an admission of guilt, and it reflects back on them. You got two groups of people that do that. You got the Europeans, and the fews are European, so we'll just say that we'll just call them one group. The Europeans in Europe, the Europeans in the snakes, the Europeans in South Africa, because they Boers, you not African. I don't care what you say. You could be there for the next 10 years if the father allow you to, but you're not a real African, or you're not really from a Kibu land. The only people that can make the claim that we make is us, because some of us was here and we've been here for as long as we've been here. So we are this is us. We not African. You don't know nothing about Africa. You don't speak no African language. You could get a kente cough and rub it all over your head all you want, but you're not African. You may have spent time there. Yes, you could say that. And our ancestors spent time there for sure. But surely our people were there too. So we're gonna get into the conversation.
Brother, see,
Go
you know
ahead,
what?
sis. Go ahead.
Can you bring up a precept? I want to address this. It's Matthew 23. If you could, hi.
Let me
Shalom, sis.
let me get my scroll up.
I know we weren't, this
No,
wasn't
no, no. Let me get the scroll. We should always have. I should always have the scroll on deck anyway, because then that will prevent me from calling something and having y'all go look for it, my lazy self. Which one you call, sis?
Matthew 23, please.
Okay, let me get it up.
Victorious Hebrews. Shalom,
Okay.
sis.
Hey, shalom, sis.
Hope
How you been? Hope all is well with you. Hope you've been well. The Father's been keeping you.
absolutely.
And now after I said that, now go get saved. Because we know you not saved. I know you not saved. You never been saved, sis. I see you kicking up a fuss in these other channels and stuff. I'll be seeing y'all. But I just don't say nothing sometimes. I see y'all. Yeah, matter of fact, everybody who listening right now need to go get saved by white Jesus. How about that?
You know
About
what, Brother Steve? Don't start that.
that?
I think we got the live crew right here.
White
No
Jesus
better.
give you a baptism
No,
or something.
this is the crew that's out here causing that heat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
shout out to my people for the pronouncements and declarations that they're making, and they not taking no mess. Times up. That's what
Yes.
they said, and that's what we meant.
Yes, and sis, you are more than likely right. And look what the sister says: Africa falls in Shem's lot, according to the book of Jubilees. Selah. Some of those people over there are our people, or are Shem. I wouldn't say our people necessarily, but they are Shem, and some of them are Ham. I don't believe all of them Ham. Now here's this is gonna throw somebody off. If someone told me that they switched the roles and that the white man was really a part of Ham, I would almost believe that, because everything's been so scrambled eggs that nobody really knows, unless it's us, could really tell you what's up, down, left, or right. So the way that Hashatan with these demons that we got on deck right now and scrambled everything up, it's a wonder that we have any working knowledge of anything, but it's due to the Father that we're able to call to mind, like the book say, call to mind the book, call to mind Deuteronomy, call to mind the whole book. Which precept you want, sis?
But you know what? The whole earth awaits the revelation of who we are.
Mm.
Even, creation itself. So all of this is bearing witness. I want to go all the way down to 29.
I'm going to read
And
for you. I'll let you calm.
yeah,
I'll read
please.
for you. There's a book of Matthew. When book chapter 23, verse 29, it says, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, and you hypocrites." He done named three people. He done named the teacher of the law, and he also named the Pharisees, and he says, "You hypocrites." So is the teachers and the Pharisees hypocrites? According to what this says, yes. You build tombs for the prophets and decorate the graves of the righteous. Verse 30, and you say, if we had lived in the days of our ancestors, we would not have taken part with them in shedding the blood of the prophets. Verse 31, so you testify against yourselves that you are the descendants of those who murdered the prophets. 32, go ahead then and complete what your ancestors started. Man, and the rest of that is heavy, but you want me to stop there? You want me to keep going?
No, your sentence right here coming up. Number 33.
Verse 33. You snakes, you brood of vipers, how will you escape being condemned to hell?
That's it right there. But you can keep on going if you want to.
I'll read 34 too. I like this one too. Therefore, I'm sending you prophets and sages and teachers. These prophets and sages and teachers are walking around with you, talking to you in the forms of human beings right now, this hour. And you guys see these individuals, and most of you will pass them by and not even give them your 10%. Your 20% and 30%, which you'll get the Creflo Dollar and that other bastard, TD Snakes, and that other one who's a lizard, Joel Osteen. Reason why I call them bastards, because they fatherlessly leading our children, our men and women, down the path of ruin, straight to hell.
Right.
But the father done woke them up. You snakes, you brood of vipers, how will you escape being condemned to hell? Therefore, I'm sending you prophets. He done said that he ain't stopped sending you, and nobody stopped, right? Prophets and sages and teachers. Some of them you will kill and crucify. Others you will flog in your synagogue and pursue from town to town. You will crucify. Well, okay, so if I look at that, what they always been saying, oh, we're looking to get to the next Black Messiah. They've been reading these precepts too. They wasn't looking necessarily for the return of the Messiah. They was looking for these prophets, sages, and teachers. Would you consider Malcolm X a prophet, a sage, or a teacher? Would you consider, and even though he was a Muslim, I love my brother because he loved his people. I don't give a damn about what religious code he put on. He could have put on atheism. I don't care nothing about that. He loved his people. And see, that's what we got to get out of this religious mindset. If you having brotherly love, and the book say let brotherly love continue, and you a Christian, or you have this belief, but then you hate your brother or sister, no, that should not be so. Point blank, period. Do I love Martin Luther King? Absolutely. Why do I love Martin Luther King? Because he put his life out on the line. He put his life out there, and he wasn't about balling up his fist more so and fighting, because he knew at the time that he couldn't knuckle up with the beast at that time. Today is a different time, though. Today is a different, and I will say this, and I'm gonna let you have. I'm gonna let you have it, sis. I'm gonna say this. It would be wise for everybody to keep their mouth, their hands, and everything else off the Israelites this hour, and you should leave these people alone.
Keep
Leave them
reading.
alone.
Yeah, keep on reading. It's the pronouncement, right? And so we know we with the live crew that makes the pronouncements.
Leave these people alone, because I'm telling it's for your own safety and for your own good.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people are coming into the full knowledge of truth. And the full knowledge of truth is not only understanding that you're an Israelite, it's what comes along with that. And what comes along with that? There's a lot that comes along with that. If you look at the exploits that Mashiach did, if you look at the exploits that our family members did, our ancestors did, how many single individuals could put 10,000 to flight? What did our
At least 1,000 to 10,000. We should be aiming for that amount. Not one, not two, not three, four, and five. 1,000 to 10,000 at least.
one person? So that means that if you got 1,000 Israelites, and oh my goodness, that's a dangerous thing. And that's why they never, when y'all used to congregate and they would see y'all congregate, they say, oh no, we can't have that. They knew you more about your power back then than you knew about it. They know if you get a few of y'all together and y'all got the same mind, y'all will wreak havoc on the earth. And what I mean by that is that you have the like mind that, okay, it's all for one and one for all. We're not going to let pride. We're not going to let uh, stature, knowledge, wisdom, or anything like that. Matter of fact, we'll use wisdom so that we can rise as a unit.
But
Point
you
blank.
know what I find interesting about the hypocrites that Hamashiach is addressing, and I mean, a hypocrite is a hypocrite is a hypocrite, right? Is
Yes.
that they build these tombs, monuments, dress up the graves of the prophets, in a celebratory fashion, right? And
Yes.
then turn around and say, we wouldn't have killed them, right? So the
Yes.
very things that they adorn, the thing that they worship, is the thing that is witnessing and testifying against them, right? And that's what I say. All of these, I call it necromancy, because it's like nobody is talking about those that are living and active, committed to setting people free, and doing it in a way, in our community especially, that is profound until they're dead. Why
Hmm.
are you celebrating them after they're dead? What about the living?
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
There are some people that are watching this every single day, committed to acting and doing something that sets people free, that sets our people free. Nobody might know your name, and that's okay. But to celebrate and set up a form of a monument or an idol or a day or whatever it may be after the fact, you have to look at that for what it is, right? What kind of worship and celebration is that?
Sorcery,
Exactly.
witchcraft. It's a form of a craft. Look what the
Yeah,
sister
and
sister put
after
up.
a stage. Mm-hmm.
Look
Yep.
what you was reading. I'm sorry. Go ahead and read that, sis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. The
She's
English
right,
word
but she's still a
hypocrite.
troublemaker, though. She a
You
right, but
know,
she's still a
that's my
troublemaker.
sister.
You're not gonna say that on Creflo Dollar site. I know you. I'm just messing with you. She'll say that on anybody's site. She don't give a damn about their feelings. I see
You know,
this. I see
and
your
I don't
currency
mean
evil out
to,
there.
and I bring this up because there's a lot regarding the death of young black folks in the news, and you see the same people that are always present surrounding death. And with death comes destruction. And I just wonder, how much presence they offer for the living. And we could just leave it at that. And some of you guys can really just think about who or what I'm talking about. But when you see the same group of people always showing up when a black man or a black woman is dead, you have to start to ask, what are they doing for those that are alive? Right? Why is it that they're always surrounding death? Doesn't destruction and death go together? Like
That's what the
wisdom
book
and
say.
prudence,
Prudence. That's what the
right?
book say. That's book
Judgment
right
and
there.
righteousness. So what is happening there? Is it a ritual?
So let me see if I can put this plainly. I don't want to throw nobody under the bus, but I am, because I don't give a damn, right?
Okay, all right.
So, but
See,
first of all, I'm gonna honor my sister. Sister, you got me by a few years. I give you that, but you still need to get saved, though. You still need to get saved. I'm gonna take you out the screen, but I appreciate the name correction, and hopefully when you're on again, I'll pronounce it correctly. So does that mean that if I chase ambulances, that means that I follow death and destruction, or I'm part of the death destruction cult? Did you hear what I said?
all of the
If
above.
I'm an ambulance chaser, I'm gonna leave
Listen,
people. I'm gonna leave people alone.
how do we even know they chasing ambulances? Because I'm trying to figure out how do they get the news so quickly and travel so quickly? Well, are we on private jets now? And I'm not hating on nobody. I'm just looking at the ritualistic practice that's happening and how people are deriving energy from off of various things, right? That they shouldn't be. It's
This
an
right here
ancient
is fitting.
practice. Yeah.
This right here, what the sister said. I know she was talking about
She
something
talk
else, but
about
this is fitting right here to what you're speaking on right now. Because here's the thing: we got people that look like us, and we've heard the phrase "all skin folk ain't kinfolk," but we got people that
absolutely.
look like us, masquerading and parading that they us, and they haven't done a damn thing for our people.
Nope.
Point blank.
They'll wait till you're dead.
Yeah.
And hopefully you don't, they'll really show up if there was a death or destruction in a way that they call miscarriage of justice, right? But what I find to be hypocrisy in all of that is that if you ask, what are you doing with the living? How are you changing conditions for the living? Because everything that I see you involved in seems to be setting us back.
Everything. Not
Everything.
one thing. Everything that you touch, and but then you come off with the appearance that you are for me. But you have nothing to show for it. The only thing you got to show for it is that you might be flying in a private jet, which I'm not hating on that, because quite frankly, to be honest with you, if I desired a private jet, I would have a private jet. Whatever I desire at this hour, I could have. And you know how I could really say that effectively is because if I look at the book of Deuteronomy, the head becomes the tail and the tail becomes the head. Not only that, but he said, call to mind in 30, 20, 28, 30, 29, and 30. You're supposed to be calling these things to mind. And so right now, if you want to get gain for and prosperity for the Israelite kingdom and community, the Father's open that up to you. If you want to get prosperity even for yourself, the Father's okay with that. Now, are we a prosperity doctrine or prosperity doctrine centered? Not necessarily, but I will say this. If you're doing the Father's will, and if you're doing what he put it in you to do, then along with that is going to be prosperity. I don't believe that you're going to be doing kingdom work and you're going to be broke. And matter of fact, the kingdom does need money to move. You can't build the kingdom or do kingdom work without resources. And those resources could be computer technology. It could be this microphone. It could be whatever the Father gives you. Go ahead, sis.
Our cousin Solomon said wisdom is a defense, money is a defense, and the excellence of knowledge is that it teaches you how to use them. use
Yes.
wisdom. And so we have to be careful with what we are spending our time on. That's all I'm saying, because we have a talent to be using, we have work to be doing, and some of the things that are right in your face, as my sister Notorious Hebrew said, they're playing a game. You're watching a ritual, right? And so I just want to call those things that are an abomination that Yah called an abomination. There's six
Yes.
things that he hates,
Mm-hmm.
seven that are an abomination to him:
That's book.
a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent
Innocent
blood,
blood.
a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that are swift in running to evil, a false witness who speak lies, and one who sows discord among brethren.
Stop right
So
there. Stop
when
right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Those seven traits right there, that's abomination. If you close your eyes and you say those out loud, who's the first person that you would see? If you close your eyes and said those seven things out loud, what image would come into your mind? And don't say Donald Trump, because the image that will come into my mind might be Ronald Reagan. Hopefully he's resting in a very hot place, which I know he is. When you list those seven things, who fits that? That's descriptive of somebody. Who is that a description of? Well, it's a description of, obviously, of those who hate the Father, and they could not look like me. They could look like me, or they could look like Donald Trump and them. But when you were saying that, the only thing I'm seeing is them people. I see some of our people mixed into that too, but the first person that popped into my mind is look like stained glass in them, and I'll leave it at that unless you got something to say on
No, I just want to make sure that we are calling the right things to hate and the right things to be indignant
it.
about.
Yes.
And it always makes me wonder why always this focus in society about anger, right? Because indignation is a righteous thing as long as you're angry and sin not, based
Yes.
on that. But
Yes.
that's not dictated by the lying tongues. And we're definitely not gonna let the proud lookers
And
and the
absolutely
hands
not.
that are, quick to shed innocent blood, the hearts that are devising wicked plans, and the feet that are swift to run into evil,
Mm,
the false witnesses that love to speak lies, tell us what it means to be righteously indignant.
mm, mm.
So that means when you come up in here and we have our life, you have to unlearn to then learn some things, right?
Yep.
Like you,
Check your mind at the door. You better
and
check your
that's
mind at the door.
say lie, sis. Say lie. I need people to catch that. Wealth
They don't see it.
transfer
They don't
in
see it.
effect.
Well, they do see it, actually. I'm not gonna say they don't see it. They see it. They see it. Go ahead and read that, sis, and expound
Wealth
on it.
transfer in effect right now, the wealth of the wicked and all. And I want people to understand that there are various forms of wealth. Don't just think of fiat currency as the only form of wealth, or you're going to miss your opportunity.
No, I think I disagree with you. Slave owner training cards are the best form of wealth.
What'd you say?
Slave owner
Who?
trading cards are the best form of wealth. What you call fiat, they slave owner trade. They got slave owner faces on every one of them.
I was reading a article about investors, and it was talking about the number one thing that so-called rich or wealthy people are investing in right now is land and gold. As a
Mm,
matter of fact, the gold rose the amount of or percentage of those who are investing in it. It was land and gold.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
So when we talk about this, we have to be mindful that there's not just one type of wealth. Knowledge is a wealth that a lot of people overlook, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They'd rather be fools.
Yeah,
Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools,
they became
right?
fools. Yep.
And
That
so,
sounds like Christian Bale and them. But anyway, keep going.
I just wanted to encourage the people. I know a lot of times that we are teaching. We're going to do that again today, talk about reparations. But I want you guys to be empowered and encouraged. And as a matter of fact, leave with more than what you came with, right?
Yes.
We're not here to extract, we're here to offer more than what you came with.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
appreciate you all. Share this information out, and whenever you're ready, I'm ready to get it started.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully I don't jiggle the wire on myself. I'm known for doing that. Let me go ahead and share the right screen and get that up. And so the screen is up. I'm gonna get us off the screen if that's okay. You okay with that, sis?
Yep, absolutely. And Notorious Hebrew, I was just praying that prayer that the Father would afflict someone who was afflicting me the other day. You are so true and right to post that. Seeing it as a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
And you know what? Notorious Hebrew, you testify to this right now. The Father is not on no delayed time clock this hour. He is moving at such a fast pace, and time is moving at such a fast pace. You ask him for something, and you ask him to pronounce something, or you do something, that thing may happen that minute that you do it. The stuff that's already manifest, backlog in the spirit, they've overflowing and rushing down on the earth right now. The earth can't even contain how fast he's moving this hour. So if somebody troubling you,
Listen, brother C.
pronounce over the top of their head. Go ahead, sis, run that.
Listen, brother C. I'm about to be walking around like Elijah, like the dogs is about to lick up your blood. Okay. That's
Yes.
what kind of timing I'm on.
Yes. Yes.
Because you see them on heightened time to steal, kill, and destroy.
Yes.
And so we need to be on heightened time to declare righteous judgments out of our mouth.
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
don't know,
Yes. That's how we move over here. But you know what though, sis? I noticed that I'm gonna call out a couple of my brothers who have channels, and I do love them dearly. That's Big Levi and Big Judah. Those individuals and the individuals that watch them are of like mind.
right.
And that's a good place to be. They're not taking the knowledge for granted, nor are
Mm-mm.
they saying that we need to be beholden. Then they understand that we need to be the head and not the tail, because we are the head, and that's the order that the Father set. The whole earth, you know who mad at us right now? The whole earth and everybody in it. The earth is mad at us right now because the earth is saying, Israelites, why don't y'all hurry up and get to y'all rightful place so that things could be put back in order?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna stop battling. I'm gonna let you get into this document here that we got on the screen. Appreciate everybody watching, and appreciate the sisters and brothers that are on. And the only thing I got to say to you is just get saved, bro. That's all I got for you, man. All right, sis, you can tell me where
All
I can.
right. So here we go again. We're on part 3 of accepting apologies is easy, paying your own debt is different. And that referencing the fact that Ghana is leading this reparations charge, and everything that it encompasses at the United Nations international law level. And we asked the questions in the past: who made them the credible witness and authority over the matter of reparations with regards to chattel slavery? Because nobody talked to us. They might have talked to some of the so-called Negro leaders, but they didn't talk to us, right? And here they have this international platform by which they are making the declarations. And then they had a conference leading into Juneteenth, that performance on Juneteenth, where they reenacted slavery. And the question still remains, if you are a part of the economic engagement by which we were sold, or our ancestors were sold, and that is not to eliminate those who were already, on the lands we call the Americas, maybe picked up and moved somewhere else across those lands, and those that also were sold. Right? We're not saying that it has to be one way or the other. We know that these things happen in waves. There were people already here, and there were people brought over. Now, is Ghana is one of the kingdoms that was involved in the sale of us. They already received a financial benefit and gain from that. Have they paid reparations first? The Ashanti Kingdom, have they paid on behalf of that kingdom? Have any of the kingdoms that was involved in our roundup and sale paid reparations while they're over there leading the charge and asking to be in charge of the reparations discourse, discussion, and putting forth laws that, if you really look and peel between the layers, you'll see that the truth is the benefit is just still towards them, right? And that's not justice. So we oppose and challenge the narrative that is being portrayed at the United Nations. The African Union does not represent us. No other, not CARICOM does not represent us. The so-called Negro leaders that they brought forward to speak however they wanted them to speak don't represent us because we can represent ourselves. And so prior to today, and today we'll share it again, we showed you where to file your opposition, and we're going to continue to do that. But out of the conference that they had in Ghana and Accra came their 18-point plan. Okay. We've been going through that 18-point plan. I gave you the assignment to look at it and read it. I'm going to put the link in the chat so that you guys can open it up for yourselves. Now, it may say, a little notification when you go to the link because this is from the Ghanaian government. So when you are opening up another government's page, it might give you a warning. But go ahead and continue on, and you'll be able to access this document. I have not seen this document anywhere else. Have you, Brother C?
No.
Okay, you go back down and show the people the way that it looks on page 1 so they'll know that they arrived. And I want to know, has anybody seen this anywhere else? Right?
This right here. This is the document that you're looking at. And it's a 14-page. It's called Next Steps Book.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. And so I'll put the link in the chat for you all. After we were going over what it said. This has already been submitted to the UN before their September General Assembly meeting. So just know that this is the document not from the UN. It's not an official UN document, but has been formally submitted to the UN from the African Union and all of the people that were at the high-level consultative conference who agreed that this is the way that the reparations framework and justice and the commitment to it should look with their next steps document. All right, so if you go down, we're on, let's see, section B, where it starts talking about shared principles and values. Okay, so I want you guys, we're going to take our time with this. Inspired by the enduring ideals of solidarity and shared humanity, we affirm our unity and common destiny and recognize that the aspirations of Africans and people of African descent, remember I said that legally their claim for us is under the claim of the people of African descent. You have to oppose that so that it is known that they're not allowed to claim you under that legal terminology, people of African descent. Sometimes they use the African diaspora, right, as well. And it says that the people of African descent and Africans are inextricably linked across continents, territories, and generations, and that their strength lies in purposeful solidarity, coordinated action, and shared strategic vision. Okay. So this is, they're telling you exactly what it is. It's not like it's hidden. I mean, unless you don't know how to find it or you don't know it exists. Inextricably. I want to look at that word for a minute, right? If you could highlight that word, Brother C, because they're saying that Africans and people of African descent, number 22, that our aspirations, what they consider Black Americans as people of African descent under the African Union's phraseology, right? So inextricably, do you see it, Brother C?
Yeah, I see it, but it's not letting me select it.
Okay,
This PDF is
don't
not
worry
selected,
about it. It's okay. You
but it's
guys, the people can see that in
23 third line
20
and 22.
Okay, that word inextricably is important when you see it in this framing, because the things that you submit to a body like the United Nations, or if you were to submit something to a court, or to a government entity, those then become part of the formal record, do they not? Right? You can then go back and look over time and see the documents that have been submitted, unless you're the CIA and you just delete them or something like that. That's a whole nother story. But these documents are going to be available um, after they're submitted to the world public for view. Inextricably means in a manner that is impossible to impossible to disentangle, separate, or untie. So, why would they make that the point? Is it potentially because we are opposing their representation? Because we are saying that we are making the delineation? Because we formally submitted documents saying that we are a separate and distinct group who has yet to be able to have our day in court? How are you going to put that we are impossible to disentangle, separate, or untie? Right?
It's
So this
exactly the
is
point that the sister's making. I apologize, sis.
no,
The
no, no.
point that
Go
the
ahead.
sister's making, it says that that's why they're pissed about FBA. Yeah, but you notice, sis, though, the whole world done gone crazy
Yeah.
when we start delineating the whole world. I mean, every group of people jump a monkey ass out the window and start pulling out their hair, ripping their clothes, and they want to put sackcloth on because we said, okay, fine, we just gonna close ranks on everybody. Yeah, everybody jumped out the goddamn window.
And I
Everybody.
got a question for the so-called African leaders and the African Union and the Ghanaian president. You talking about the fact that we cannot be disentangled, separated, or untied, and that we're linked across continents, territories, and generations. But last time I checked, if I have a family member that was stolen from me, I would go in search of that family member until
Oh
I
my
found
goodness.
them.
Oh my goodness. And you
Okay.
know what?
As a, you look, brother,
Go ahead,
see,
sis. Go
wait,
ahead,
you
sis.
go.
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
you got
say
me
this.
fired up now.
Look,
Go ahead.
look.
Go ahead.
Abraham got word that Lot was taken, and what did he do? He didn't consult with anyone. He gathered 318 of the trained brethren in his own household and went and got Lot. And I like to say, and everything moving
Mm,
was going with them. They was gonna
mm.
get everything back. Okay. Uh, our, David, should I pursue this band of raiders? You see throughout time what our ancestors would have done. And so I don't believe that anybody of the spirit will just allow us to spend hundreds of years without any search and rescue mission, without any attempt to fight to search, to secure their family members is related to us. I believe that that's a farce, and we know that it is. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop for you, brother. See, go ahead and jump out on that window.
No, hold on, because see that's something that's near and dear to my heart. Because when I would see Africans in my younger years, I would try to, be cordial, and I'm still cordial to everybody, unless you prove yourself to be an enemy or you prove yourself that you hate me, then I'm gonna hate you right back. But I would ask them. I said, okay, y'all over in the motherland. When I would meet them, I said, y'all over there, how come y'all never reach back to come and get us? Why? Because I'm still in the mode that, okay, it's kumbaya and we can get along with them. Meanwhile, as you get older and as you learn, well, reason why they never came back to come get you is because they knew that they were selling their enemies to the Edomites. They knew who they were selling their people, who was getting sold. And it wasn't the fact that Africans were selling Africans. It was the fact that Africans were tired of the Israelites had already built up the kingdoms that they were in, and they were willing to sell them, according to the book, sell them to these Europeans. Now, Ghana being, and this is where the world is upside down, where you're living in a bizarre world. You now have two entities that were co-conspirators. You have Vatican Roma, which is backing Ghana in this play, by the way, which is a play. You have Vatican Roma and you've got Ghana. Well, you've got both of the plugs, because Vatican Roma was the one that was helped carting us off. Y'all say y'all, speaking of third person, carting you off and placing you all over the earth. But at the same time, Ghana was the main exporter of this. So Ghana was the plug. So how do you have the plug and the plug supplier, which the plug the Vatican Roma sanctioned through dumb diverses and all these other wicked laws that they have that you could conquer, and Ghana agreed with it. So how are these two conspirators the ones that's backing the play of Africa getting reparations? Because the play is not for you to get anything in your pocket. It's the play to rebuild Africa on somebody else's nickel.
Well, we ain't building no more mercantile cities for any pharaoh. Okay, that's just the bottom line. While they're trying to, and that is the question that everyone should be asking: what's in it for them? Right? What's in it for them to now want to be linked with us across continents, territories, and generations? And the fact that you knew this and put it in the document without any evidence of what you tried to do to secure your inextricably linked people, right? It is the hypocrisy that we're talking about, right in your face, a lie. So this is why, I do understand that FBA is making the delineation, but they need to, we all have to formally oppose what they're doing, because what they're doing is creating this codified trail, this history, this record. And while we can make our videos, we also need to formally oppose and let them know you're not getting away with what you're attempting to do this time. We see right through you. Your time's up. Time out for that kind of game. Time out for your lies, your whispers, your backdoor deals, trying to continue to trade us right in our face, right? Because you're basically poverty pimping. I'm going to call it that. On the world stage.
Yes.
And yeah, they do have some of the so-called civil rights Negro leaders. They're right along with them, shaking hands and kissing babies. I call that the politician move, right? Agreeable, but they're not willing to talk to us, but they're going to hear from us whether they like it or not. Because at the end of the day, what we say stands. What the Father has given us to declare stands.
Yes.
And so just recognize who the actors are and what they have to gain. So if we go to 23, now remember this is under the shared principles. Drawing on African norms and values. Well, who said that those were the norms and values by which we live by? Right? And by which everyone else should respect. Here's what it says though. We and know that the Black Caucus was there too at the signing of this 18 points, these this repertory framework. The Congressional Black Caucus, the NAACP,
Useless,
Al
useless,
Sharpton and the National Action
useless,
Network,
useless,
Ben Crump, because they
useless,
so-called had legal experts from the
useless,
Americas.
clueless.
Just look at who was there and
Boule,
in
Bobs, and
agreement.
Bettys. Boule, Bobs, and Bettys.
Right. Drawing on African norms and values, we affirm that the pursuit of reparatory justice cannot be advanced by any one country, continent, region, or institution acting alone. The historical injustices of enslavement, colonialism, and their enduring legacies affected people dispersed across nations and continents. We hold that the response must be rooted in a shared sense of peoplehood, common purpose, and collective action. So you see that the pursuit of reparatory justice cannot be advanced by any one country, continent, region, or institution acting alone. This word for word is confirmation of the same language that they put in their working group report, the AU, and those that were in the reparations working group. And what they called it was transcending distinctions. You know, when I hear that word transcending, it's kind of interesting because it's always some kind of narrative that they're trying to frame, especially when they put it into um formal legal documents,
Can
right?
I say? Can I say what I see there real quickly? I
Mm-hmm.
just see the POC jargon all over you. Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead, Ron.
Well, no, and you should. And you should, because like we showed last time at the beginning of the document, they started out talking about Africans and the people of African descent, and then they brought up natives, and then they brought up labor, right? So you already see where it's like this melting pot idea coming to life right in your face.
Yeah.
Um, Two separate documents, the UN working group's own report, this report that they formally gave to the UN ahead of the September General Assembly meeting, 4 months apart, different authors, identical conclusion. Dissolve the individual claim into the collective claim. We talked about that, right? How they want to legally dissolve any individual claims that we may make in opposition to say that we're a separate and distinct group of people who deserve our evidence to be heard before the world, at the United Nations, and to be reviewed and to be able to make our own demands because we live in the US that had a very specific codified chattel slavery and owes a very specific legal remedy. And we haven't had our day to speak about that because we have people who are saying that there's a collective claim and not a different claim. And everything needs to be dissolved into that. Whereas other countries had their own rules and laws and economic system with regards to chattel slavery. It's not going to be the same what happened in the United States of America as what happened in other places. And yes, definitely, we've said multiple times those people are people that are harmed by chattel slavery in other countries should file their formal opposition to based on what they experienced there. We just can't fold them into ours because ours was very specific and unique. The duration of time counts, right? The lasting impact counts. How it still affects us today counts. All of that goes into looking at reparations or restitution, you can say, legal remedies that are meant to compensate or fix a harm, an injury, or damage that was caused. So when two unrelated institutions land on the same erasure language independently, that's not coincidence. It's kind of like how you were saying the Pope and then the African Union or Ghana in cahoots, right?
Mhm.
Two independent so-called entities with the same speech pathology, I'll call it. That's the operating logic of the entire movement. You see it when they're saying the same things, they're landing on the same conclusions. So then we go to paragraph 24. We affirm sovereignty as the inalienable and inherent right of all peoples. Well, yeah, we know a lot of peoples that have been able to maintain their sovereignty. We're talking about us as a distinct group. They're not talking about us, as you can see by the first sentence in paragraph 24. Of all peoples, and affirm that the collective future of Africans and people of African descent, including those in settler colonial states. Now, remember, if you don't know this, I'll repeat it again. Oftentimes, when you see the word state brought up in international bodies, governing bodies, they're talking about countries. Okay. I know that we typically think about states in a different way, like how many states does the United States have? But when see states mentioned in international law or a United Nations kind of governance structure, they're talking about countries. And those settler colonial states is dependent on equity, justice, and sovereignty. We further affirm our freedom to govern, create, produce, and develop according to our aspirations and interests, free from external domination and conditionalities. So you notice the framing, right? And we're in the United States of America, and it's like that description includes us living in a settler colonial state, right? The same category used for places like Kenya, Algeria, or anyone that was under European occupation. That's not necessarily our history, though. Our ancestors, we talked about this before. Many, brought here, some already here. There's a lot of evidence that people have that hasn't been presented. That's why we need our day in court. And those people may have also be confusing colonization with kidnapping, trafficking, transporting, cruel, vile treatment and punishment, medical experimentation. So there's a difference between colonization and chattel slavery. But do you see that difference here? No, you don't. So when Brother C, you talk about it's almost like the people of color argument and how everybody could benefit from civil rights, but then they say that that was our, remedy here in the United States. We know that it's a lie. It's general and ambiguous language on purpose. Do you have anything else you want to say about that?
No, you need to feature that word ambiguous, because that's a lot of that. No, that's a powerful word, because a lot of times we see different people projecting, and they're not holding the mirror up, but they're projecting the way that they feel and what they're doing on you by way of words, which is a form of craft, in my opinion.
It is. It is a craft,
Yep.
right?
There should be
So
there should be no way that Ghana is responsible for setting up the framework for reparations. There's only one group of people. Well, I could say two, but I'll name us first, because you had 51% of the slaves go to Brazil, supposedly, but I believe that some of them people were already there too, just like in the Americas. So,
right.
but the leaders of culture of the whole earth should be the ones that have the most say so. And
Mm-hmm.
make no mistake about it, the so-called African American, the black, the Negro, the colored, um, those people, those people have more influence over the earth than anyone on the earth. Name me one group of people that has impacted every aspect of life more so than the Israelites here in the United States of America. Name them. You can't do it.
You
Go
can't.
ahead, sis. You can't do
You
it. Go ahead.
can't. And from my perspective, I'm wondering how a group of people that have a land that they claim as their own and home are making, this claim anyway.
Mm,
So it's like you've already been financially compensated for what you did, but you didn't compensate us for the harm of selling, trading, and whatever else.
mm,
Why are you asking for reparations?
mm,
Was your home stolen? Like,
mm,
show me where the harm was. And look,
mm,
colonialism has its own harm. Yeah, I understand that, but you cannot clump it in with chattel slavery, kidnapping,
mm,
raping, and torture.
mm.
Okay.
No,
So,
you need to
yeah,
forget about all of that. This is what they stand on. You need to forget about that. Oh, that happened so long ago, and nobody here that's on the land right now owns slaves or had slaves. Listen to how foolish that sounds. That's totally contrary against the book.
but now, what if the people remember when the Berlin Wall thing? Listen, I'm not trying to be funny, y'all, but you remember that Berlin Wall. Now, what
Mhm,
if those people say, you know what, they colonized us too? We want reparations under this UN framework,
mm,
right?
mhm,
What? Who is going to say no? You don't. You're not allowed to receive reparatory justice under this framework
mm,
because they put the ambiguous terms in, meaning that they have more than one possible
mhm,
meaning,
mhm,
which often makes it multiple interpretations, and interpretation of laws matter. Or it's difficult to understand clearly. And a lot of times when you see laws and policies that are vague and ambiguous, difficult to understand clearly, that's on purpose and by design.
mhm, mhm.
They
They
don't
want to make
have
it
a
more.
strict definition.
They want to make it more confusing and convoluted because they believe that you won't understand, or you won't have somebody that can understand it for you and tell you what it is and what it is not. This thing was written in plain English that the common man and woman should be able to understand. Now, what makes this even more deeper is that the sister that's online with you right now, the Father has given her wisdom and knowledge above and beyond mostly everybody here on the earth when it comes to decoding the law.
Hmm.
Go ahead and run it, sis.
Yeah, I'm the code
Get out the
breaker
way.
on this,
I'm gonna
right?
get out.
So I
I'm gonna get out the
appreciate
way.
that. But we're not leaving any room for confusion or different conclusions because we know who we are, we know what happened to us, and we know what's owed. So not no space for no vagueness and ambiguity,
Mm,
right? And we just gonna say that and let it be known. We're
mm,
not falling for the vague and ambiguous documents and statements and formal codified this. That game is over. That time is up on that.
mm. And you know who made time up on that? You know who made
We
time up on
did.
that? We did. We did.
We did.
You know who told us to testify to these things to be so? The Father did. These things manifested in the Spirit long before we got here. We are walking these things out right now. We are. And see, you notice what's foolish though, is the algorithm got things so backward and twisted. When you get information like you're getting on this channel, and when you get information that the sister putting out, they will crush them down and push them down to where it seems like you're not getting views or seem like you're not making a difference. No, I don't believe that. I don't buy that. They done compressed our viewership down to a trinkle.
Right. And so those of you watching, share this information with those who you know need to have it. Because one thing that they can't do is stop us.
Yes.
They might be able to control, through the airways, whatever they think they can control. But once the algorithm pop, it's gonna pop. And even then, they might say, "Oh, the numbers might look low, but we know people viewed it." And that's the game. That's a game. We all know about that. But just go ahead and share the information. So when you see, the colonial occupation framework erasing the actual legal mechanism. We talked about this before, that the United States enacted partis sequitur ventrum, that which follows the belly, as its guiding law that governed slave bodies and reproduction. And not only that, it reversed us looking at ancestry from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to now being compelled and forced to only look at the status and condition of the mother. That's a lasting impact, whether you realize it today or not. I want you to think about that, right?
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
first thing they did was swap that role, giving the black man really no role, the master the ability to rape black bodies without any consequence, because that was property, chattel property, considered as animal. That's what chattel refers to, right? And then ventrum. So any child that comes through the mother that is enslaved is also declared a slave at birth, before birth even, because the child follows the condition of the mother. And if we look at modern systems, social systems, they do the same thing today. They do the same thing today, where you know there's the condition is typically along the lines of what's going on with the mother. Eliminate the actual father and even if there's consequences, right?
Yes.
Because when did the slave masters ever have to pay child support for the children that they bore? Now, I know under multiple acts that land was grants were given. The children of the masters got an inheritance, and also probably were able to even inherit some of the grant conditions and land grants. Who was paying taxes on the slaves? Where's the income tax receipts on that? Right? There's a lot that goes into it. I'm not going to talk about it all today, but this is exactly why we need our day in court, because the way that the U.S. codified slavery doesn't look like just a colonial occupation framework. So I rebuke number 24 because that's a lie, right? It's baked into the paragraph to make it seem like there's something just being said when it's wicked and unjust. Now, if we look at number 25, and then we're going to go to the next section, because like I said, I'll go through some of them, but I really need you guys to take your time and go through the documents on your own so that you can see what's being said about you, right? I know what they're saying because I've read these documents multiple times. But you have to look at and see what's being stated about you, the lie, obviously, that the liars continue to tell, and they know where to find out what they said because they're the ones saying it. But then being able to have an answer, and that answer is in a formal opposition, because they're not getting away with the lies that they're telling. Okay. So, number 25, we affirm a shared commitment to advancing reparatory justice as a comprehensive and multidimensional process grounded in relevant regional jurisprudences and international law doctrine. So here's the part where they're codifying this, right? When you see that regional jurisprudences, regional authorities, you can see, look at it like that, governance structures, and international law doctrine of satisfaction. So I remember saying if you could look up the law of satisfaction, but if you didn't get a chance to, this is where we're going to land right here. I want to talk about the law of satisfaction a little bit, and then we're going to go a little bit further and we'll stop. But I want to keep you guys forever for a long time today. I wouldn't say forever, but um, like I said, we'll go through this for as long as we need to until I get my people to understand why formal opposition has to be made on the record, right? And certain demands need to be made. We haven't even gotten to an amount for the legal harm that was caused. We're still trying to build, we're doing what's called discovery. But when we're not even at the, table with our discoverable documents, then they can say whatever they want. All right. So when we're talking about the law of satisfaction in international law, and if you have a device, go ahead, don't turn us off, but look at this however you can. If not, just listen and go look it up later. I'm sorry, I had the document up. I wanted to read it to you.
You want me to do something different on the screen, sis?
No. I'm just going to read it to them.
Okay.
So as you can see in number 25, you have the law doctrine of satisfaction, and I call that an international law. So if you look up, I wanted to read the actual definition to them, so I was just looking it up on my phone. You could bring it up if you want, Brother C, but I mean, I don't think that we need to unless you want to. It's fine.
No, you can go with it.
So I'm going to read it to you guys, and I want you to see the games that's being played here, right? So with the law doctrine of satisfaction is a foundational, right? Like the cornerstone is the foundational stone, it's the building block, right? By which everything is set on a firm foundation is supposed to be. The legal principle dictating that a state must provide symbolic monetary remedies to repair moral or immaterial injury caused to another state. Okay. Remember, I talked about states being countries. So the doctrine of satisfaction is symbolic forms of reparation. You heard that right, Brother C?
Yeah, and the first thing I think about the symbolic form is, okay, somebody could just say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then that'd be done with it. That ain't remedy nothing. That ain't remedy the trauma that's been passed down to me from my mom and my father. You remedy none of that.
So
Say you
did
sorry.
anybody in here, ask for that, right? Like we didn't have our day to even ask. In general public international law, the term satisfaction describes a particular form of reparation in law of state responsibility, meaning the country that is responsible. This particular reparation is deemed to repair immaterial damages, right? What they're saying, those that are immaterial, the damages that were caused, as opposed to material damages caused by an internationally wrongful act, since full reparation is a principle that has long been recognized. Okay. So just know that, material damage is repaired by restitution, in kind, or compensation. The reparation of immaterial damages is more varied in its form, depending on the factual and legal circumstances surrounding the case. In that sense, the judicial and state practice with regard to satisfaction is not conclusive and contributes to uncertainty when it comes to assessing the legal conditions, forms, and the extent of that kind of reparation. So again, It's vague and ambiguous. And they may say, well, we're leaving it open for, states to come to the table and talk to us and do this and do that. No, that's a lie. It's vague and ambiguous on purpose and can be left up to interpretation. And here's a prime example. A prime example is the fact that the US, Argentina, and Israel all voted no on the reparations resolution becoming law anyway. So if you then add in this international law doctrine of satisfaction, how are they going to interpret that? They're not even going to read this. So you have claims from chattel slaves that are being, haven't been heard, but we're bringing forward our opposition so that it can be heard. Who's representing that? Right? I'm talking to you, the people, are you expecting for the African Union, and you've read what they've written so far, to represent you and the claim of the harm and the injury and the damage that your family generationally endured, to bring forth the accurate picture and declaration of what happened, right? Or you see, they're going to use vague and ambiguous in kumbaya, which really come by here, yeah, is what we were saying. Come get us terms to show what it is that they're showing, and it's so disconnected from what we're demanding that is sickening. And may they vomit off of their own sickness. That's all I'm gonna say. Say lot. So I wanted you guys to understand that the law doctrine of satisfaction is not sufficient. It's not sufficient. And obviously, a full and formal apology, restitution, compensation, rehabilitation. What is that? More programs, Brother C?
It's more rigmarole where somebody can get consultant money and not have nothing get done.
And so having this all of the above kind of thing where, it's almost like a fruit, a cup of mixed fruit, allows for other people to enter in and say they have a claim. It has to be very specific, very tailored, very you know, distinct regarding what group are you talking about, how the harm can be proven, how the group can be proven, right? And we're not afraid to prove what we need to prove. Some people are, because they know that they're just trying to get in where they fit in. And with the harm, what remedy is available? And maybe even, if I look at what happened to your family and what happened to mine, the remedy may not be the same. And so there's no lazy way to deal with justice. But that's what you see is happening. Like, let's just throw a blanket. And then, ultimately, some of the countries they'll pay the African government, the AU, or the Caribbean government. And then the governments will put, programs together where you're not if gonna get the compensation. You're gonna get a program. You're gonna get a voucher. You might get one of those class action lawsuit calling cards. You know what kind of old school.
You'll get a voucher. You go to a coupon to Target or something.
I'm just
You get
saying,
$50
this is the
gift
way that
certificate.
it's set up. People really need to look at the way that it's set up while they're out here applauding this move.
They gonna give you a $50 gift certificate to Walmart
You know what?
or
Y'all better stay
Amazon.
out. Y'all better stay out of Walmart. I'm sick and tired of hearing about my people in Walmart. Just stay away from up over there. And I ain't trying to, create no movement or nothing. I'm just saying, based on the evidence of what I see, y'all just stay up from out of there. Okay. Just do something else. It's just too much going on to be up in there. So I just wanted you guys to see, like, this fancy language, what it actually amounts to, and what they're actually asking for. To me, is like what's missing is actually the thing that is our opposition that we are addressing, that, as my sister said before, FBA is having conversations about, and they can act like they don't hear that, but at the rapid rate that they're moving to do different things that we see, play little games, we know that they hear, and we know that they received the opposition. Well, I know that they received it because I have the receipts from the emails that were sent, right? So we're gonna go back over to this website, and you see it scrolling at the bottom, theboldauthority.com. I'll probably be adding some information to this week. Okay, just to keep everyone up to speed on the UN General Assembly that's coming in September, what to expect, the facts, along with the evidence. You'll see on March 25th, 2026, the United Nations General Assembly declared, slavery a grave crime, the gravest crime against humanity, declaring it trafficking of enslaved Africans and racialized chattel enslavement of Africans. Right. And when you declare something a crime, and everybody in here knows, if somebody declared that you committed a crime, charges would be brought against you. Of and if you were found guilty of that crime, you would probably serve time, lose your freedom, definitely, in some
Restitution.
form or fashion, and restitution, because the harm needs to be restituted. So when you start thinking about how this uh doctrine of satisfaction is going to play out with a crime that was committed
Hmm.
hundreds of years of white babies suckling at a black breasts.
Hmm.
Black women couldn't even feed their own babies. And the the medical experimentation alone warrants its own hearing,
Hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You see this information about the Nuremberg trials. When do we have our day in court about the medical experimentation?
Hmm.
And so there is a lot to be done to oppose this type of codified movement, and us being grouped and represented by people that really don't even represent us. They might claim that they do out of their mouths, but the reality is the snakes and brood of vipers can never represent us. Okay. So I just want you guys to recognize that. You can see in the next paragraph, it's going to say, we recognize the need for sustained political will, international cooperation. Now, I've never heard of somebody being charged with a crime and then, being told, well, we hope that you have good intentions to, come serve this 5 years of this joint suspended sentence that we're going to give you. Is that how it happens? I mean, maybe, people can just freely turn themselves in to go to prison and whatnot, and take as much time as they want to decide whether or not they're gonna have the will to do it. I just don't know where it happens, because I
Look how ridiculous what you said sounds, though, because again, we go back to Ghana being the one that's in charge of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most. It's mind blowing. It'll almost drive you crazy, but I don't.
But
I
look
don't let
at,
it
they're
get to me.
asking for, look at, you can't let it get to you, because we
I
are
don't.
on them and oppose. And I want the people in the chat to hear this too. We're on them, okay? And they might not say it out of their mouths, but you can see it in the actions, and we're not going to let up. And we're going to continue to oppose with the very codes that they're citing, right? And it's not going to stop. This international cooperation and inclusive participation. Well, we weren't there, but again, you're labeling us people of African descent on purpose,
Mhm.
right? And in this reparatory justice process, who they invite, who they want, as I said before, the Congressional Black Caucus, and we need to call them to the table too. And I am more than willing to write a letter to get on the record to ask them who gave them the authority to go to Ghana and represent Black Americans.
I want to say this. I'm going to say this. I apologize for interrupting you, sis. I want to go back to
No,
this.
you go
right here.
ahead.
I'm going to go back to this right here. Now, I'm going to say this to you, family. And number one, I don't want the information to get out for Salt of the Earth's sake. Salt of the Earth is doing their stuff behind the scenes, working on other stuff that we can't even highlight at you about. But this is about the information. This is about this website. This is about what you call FBA. So this website right here, this is the main reason you see them moving at the pace that they're moving right now. The reason why they're moving at the pace right now is because our family members have been doing this right here. This is a sledgehammer against everything. This is a sledgehammer against all the Black organizations that have been doing nothing, which we know they watching. It's against the rotten UN, which we know they watching. It's against Ghana with their wicked ass self, which we know they're watching. It's against Vatican Roma. This is the reason why they're moving at such velocity that they're moving, because they didn't expect us to be doing these submissions.
Nope.
We done submissions and they done shut it down. Now you can't even submit no more.
Yeah.
And when brothers and sisters was trying to submit, they was like, well, we can't submit because they saying page timeout or 404 is giving us errors.
Error codes. And I'm like, resubmit it.
Yeah. So I can't, you can't tell me that this form right here has impacted them so much. That's why they had that thing that they did on Juneteenth. They scrambling now because they know that because we've submitted what we submitted, they have to address this at some point. They have to address
on the record.
On the record. Ghana can't speak. And here, before you go there, sis, I want to go back here. And family, you can look at these submissions that the sister did, starting way back when in April, May, June, July. We get ready to be in August.
It was 8 days after.
8 days after this right here. 8 days after this. Because we had no voice, no representation. So the sisters took this upon ourselves and then start throwing salvos at all of these different organizations. You go read these, you could download, you click on them and download them, and you can look at them.
I wrote the minister of the Department of I wrote South Africa and told them that they do not represent us. We represent us.
Look at it. The one to the UN General Assembly. Right here. Look at this. Look at this, fam. This work right here that the sister did. And the father's using the sister as a vessel, of course, a vessel of honor, not dishonor. Let's get that. Let's not get it. Look at this here. And this right here. This one sister got the UN on the run, got all these fake Black organizations on the run, got Vatican Roma on the run. Now I'm gonna leave you right here, but the website is should be trailing on the bottom of the page. Family, tell your brothers and sisters, if you really about reparations, then you will be about understanding this work that's happening right now. And it's the only reason why they've accelerated their pace, because they know that, hey, hold on a second, you got them FBAs or you got a group of FBAs that understand that you're trying to pull the wool over their eyes with the shenanigans that you play, Ghana and Vatican and France. And who you say, NAN, the Congressional Black Talkers, the NAACP, and the organization I always leave out.
You can look at paragraph number 26 and see some listed right there. You see that, right?
Mm-hmm. Where your name at?
My name ain't, they ain't gonna put my name.
Okay.
They don't even want to have a conversation with me.
Where your people at?
But
Where your
they're going
people
to
at?
have to at one point. It
Where your
says,
people at?
look,
Where your
I
people?
don't see us on here.
Because they say African and people of African descent. Where you at in there?
I don't know if they consider this the Pan African Congress. I don't know.
Here's another
Right?
question. Here's another question I got for the whole of YouTube. Is there any so-called African American, Negro, colored, FBA, ADOS, DUSCS? Is there any channel that you can go to and see this information and that know this information and that can break this information down? Please show them to me, and I'll link up with them. We'll link up with them. But you ain't got none of these major channels, none of these major brothers and sisters that got major channels talking this talk like this. They can't even show you this document because they don't even know this document exists.
Most people don't even know this document exists.
But then they got the nerve. I honestly, and I'm not gonna name this individual. I saw an individual come on this channel, watch this show the same day they did a show about it and didn't know what the hell they was talking about. Which is fine. I'm okay with that as long as the information getting out. But you're not putting out the information, though. Only thing you're doing is you're parroting what you think you might know. You got to point people to the information. We're pointing you to saying, hey, go to the website. Here's the submission. Only thing you got to fill out is your name and briefly how it impacted you. And you can send an email to the union and that count.
I put the email addresses. Listen, I mean, there's templates to where you can just plug in your name and information and all of that. Like I'm going to tell you again, I've said before, please do not put anything that you don't want to be a matter of international public record on here, right? No, we putting your social security number on there. If you don't want people trying to dox you, don't put your phone number, right? The fact that you email it, that's your receipt, okay? Email as a form of legal verification that you communicated. This is the process that the UN states to take. They may have submission portals, but those have to be open. I'm going to continue to check them. I do believe that there's something that may be open right now where people could submit, and I'll bring that information to you next week. No problem. But this conversation has to be had in this way or you will lack understanding. And I'm not going to have you engage in a process or an action just to do a call to action when you don't understand what you're doing. That's like walking into a dealership or an insurance broker's office, signing your name on the dotted line at the doctor's office, and you don't even know what was said. And so that is why we're taking the time to break this down so you will have all of the information.
All of it, not some of it. And
Not some of it.
I keep stressing this. There's no channel. And I'm gonna say this before the Father. There's no channel, YouTube or otherwise, that got this information. You ain't heard now person say that, okay, well, this is the solution. First, how you gonna address the UN? Well, you address the UN this way. Because you get the legal framework started by this right here. And you can't get no legal framework by sending a letter that I heard somebody say, oh, we're going to send a letter to Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump ain't never going to ever see that letter, number one. But number two, if he just so happened to see it, he'll look at it, read it, wipe his tail with it, and that's it. Toilet paper to that man.
And they think we're just going to go on the street corner with signs and protest and be upset for a little while and maybe, send letters or vent to each other on social media. And now we're not going to codify our opposition. Don't you understand the weights and measures here? The plumb line, the measurement tool, right? They're codifying or attempting to codify our binding like they did in the beginning, and we're breaking the codification when we enter our opposition in the same form. If you understood the way that they put these laws, and most of you do at some level or not, and if not, you're getting that knowledge every time you come every week here, then you will know how to say, I oppose your attempt to bind me.
You could look at paragraph 26. If you don't see your name in there, then you should be up at arms. If everybody on the planet, if I'm gonna give you one word, and I'm gonna tell you to close your eyes and you tell me who you think about. If I said the word slavery and you got your eyes closed, who is you gonna think about? You're gonna think about the so-called African Americans. I don't give a damn about nobody else everywhere, wherever they are. When you talk about slavery, when the whole world thinks about slavery, the resonance and frequency, they gonna think about those people who came over in transatlantics that was here. And they gonna also think about, and they don't even know it, they gonna think about the ones that was already here that was enslaved. You gonna think about those Negroes that's in America.
But slide up to the beginning of the document, brother. See, I want to show the people why you mentioning that. When you close your eyes and you hear the word slave or slavery, what are you going to imagine or think about? We know what we are, but I want you to slide up to the beginning of the document so I can show the people something real quick. Let me see. Okay, go down a little bit. It's going to be in... I'm looking for the part. Okay, right here. See, you see paragraph 5. You see at the end of it, well, let's just go ahead and read it. We recognize that the resolution, now remember, we just showed you the resolution calling slavery, which they were saying chattel slavery, the gravest crime known to man, human trafficking, right? Requiring reparations. So that's the resolution number. And they're saying it specifically addresses racialized chattel enslavement of Africans. Now, as the gravest crime against humanity. We also recognize the historical and ongoing injustices perpetuated against African peoples and the people of African descent, including colonialism, apartheid, genocide, systemic racism, structural inequality, and all other current systems of exploitation and dehumanization. Here's the part that y'all need to look at and be like, well, wait a minute, hold on. We welcome the resolution's contribution to advancing existing global political and legal efforts for reparatory justice for Africans and people of African descent, as well as indigenous people and indentured laborers. You talking about indentured slaves? Now, what group is that? Is that the Irish? Because they be talking about they were slaves too. I mean, can you answer it, Brother C? Or is it open for interpretation again?
No. That means that the Irish could get theirs. The Irish could get theirs. The Chinese could get theirs. The Indians, the so-called Indians, the so-called natives, the Mongolians, they could get theirs. Also, you can get the fews. They can get theirs too, because they won't go wind up ultimately getting it all anyway. They're gonna wind up getting whatever Ghana try to manage. They ain't gonna get what's earmarked for Notorious Hebrew. They're not gonna earmark what's gonna get what Wise Society gonna get. They're not gonna get anything that Queen of Heaven gonna get. What the Father got earmarked for you, you gonna get it. Contrary, if they say, well, nobody here was slaves, nobody here was slave owners, you guys need to forget about it. No, just weights and just balances. Justice needs to be served.
Right, and this is not justice. So you basically, the Descendants and the Neanderthals, come get it. And I'm not being funny, I'm serious, because that's the kind of language that you see utilized here, where it's how are you proving that these people are owed anything? Why is apartheid, colonialism, and genocide clumped into that? Because we know a whole group that claims they were genocided. Okay. Who are the indigenous people, and what's the difference between them and the Aboriginals? Because let's go there. You don't get me started.
All right, see now you and Notorious Hebrew is twins now.
You know that's my girl. You know that's my girl. Look.
Listen, Yeah, you go get us banned.
We ain't gonna get you.
If anybody go get us banned, it'd be me. I don't give a damn
Listen,
about the fuse. I don't give
I
a damn
mean,
about them and they
you don't
doing.
want me to even talk about the cricket blood quantum system here in the United States that actually bans the use of blood,
Mm,
DNA, and we know the
mm.
life is in the blood,
That's
right?
book. That's book.
And so I just want you guys to be able to see this in real time before the next General Assembly meeting. That way, when you're watching all of this take place on the General Assembly at the UN and it's on TV, you will know exactly what's being said and how to read between the lines. I'm telling you, once you see it happening in real time, you're going to think back on all the things that you learned from watching, from coming here and joining in this discussion. And then you're going to be able to detect the lie. And then you guys will individually have your own pencils ready to go and oppose the binding, the codified binding. On that day, we won't be waiting 8 days. It took me 8 days to make sure that I had all my I's dotted and T's crossed, because I'm accountable for every dot and tittle, every word that is stated, right? And I had to make sure that it spoke clearly to the powers that be that they can't run the same game on us. But now you're going to be ready to directly oppose the codified enemy who learned the language of pen and moi, one of the fallen, and you look it up in Enoch, okay? One of the fallen who taught men how to confess their faith with pen and paper.
Man, hold on.
And
Stop it
paper.
with that
You
book of
bet.
Enoch.
You
We
know
don't believe
what?
in the book of
These
Enoch. Christians
people,
don't believe in the book of Enoch. If
we
you put
ain't got
that
no
down,
Christians in here. What you
that's
talking about?
the book of Enoch. That's fables and mythology. Stop it. We don't believe in that. We only believe in Jesus and getting saved.
Brother, see, well, then they gonna let the Neanderthals and the Descendants get in this.
You better be reading every book you get your hands on.
Listen, how you got a blood quantum test with no blood? I can't do this today.
Okay, hold up. Before you finish up, I'm pointing it and I'll drop the link in the description.
No, we're done for today on the 18-point list, so we could just go on ahead and rock this out.
Cool. So with that in mind, listen, we started this 2 months ago. And I'm pointing the family, this is the first one that we did. And we've done a few videos on this. We missed a couple of weeks because we have family emergencies and things happen and whatnot, and we got to live. So we missed some weeks, but we try to get on every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Here's the thing. You've got information here that's very, very powerful that has been put out. Don't do it for salt of the earth. Do it for your family, for your children. Have your family members. Direct them to this channel, direct them, and for the reason of getting the information. They ain't got to say they got the information from Salt of the Earth, but just direct it to them so that they can see. And I see that the world is opening, us people are opening up we're opening up our eyes to seeing that, hey, the African thing, that's a whole trick bag. They're trying to trick us out of our reparations, which is exactly what they're trying to do. This whole scheme with Ghana is to trick you out of your heritage. Reparations is part of your heritage, family. And we can't let them trick us out of this. And Father is guiding and directing this. So ultimately they won't be able to trick us. The only thing they can try to do is try to slow the train down. But with as fast as the train is going right now, you can't stop nor overthrow what the Father is doing. Y'all see what he's doing right now. He got Iran whooping the United States and Israel's ass right now. And when I say the United States, you Israelites, it's not the United States. You're not. Now you may be living here, and some of us may actually be from here, but you're not part of the United States government. You're not part of the popular populace. That's not you. You're not part of the fake Jews. That's not you. You the real live book people. And he the only reason why you standing today, to this moment, to this hour. The only reason why you able to stand is because he had you, even though he turned his face from you. But now since he done turned his face towards you, You got to move. And it ain't like we asking you to break down. We asking you to get the information, go to the website, see the work that's being done. Nobody asking for no shekels. Although if you want to give me a Trinity offering, give me 30%. You can give it to get brotherseehismoney.com and send it back.
Get brotherseehismoney.com.
Get brother
I
see
know
his
that's
money.
right.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not one of these pious Negroes that think that you supposed to be, you an Israelite, you running around talking about with that fake piety, talking about it's okay for you to be broke or have no money. Nope.
No. The worker is worthy of his wages.
Of his wages. That's book. And you look at your ancestors wasn't running around talking about, well, how you gonna pay rent or this, that, and the third. No, they had it.
Listen, my dad would say, the poor we will have with us always. That don't mean you got to be poor always.
Listen, and it's not a choice, but I'll say this right now. Right now, in this time in history, you Israelites can choose to be whatever it is that you want to be. The stars testify to this and how they're aligned. The Father testified with his book. Mashiach testified when he said greater works than these you. So Mashiach testified that you would be greater than him by saying that he testifying greater works than what he did, you would do. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I just made that up.
You didn't make that up. I want to caution people about one thing, though, falling into this language of everybody should have this or that, this inclusive. I know it's not this group that's watching today, but I just feel led to say something about it because that's what that document reads. And you called it out, the people of color. Well, when the people of color ever pull up for black folk? You know what I mean? I just want to know. And I think about Revelation 22:15, but outside are the dogs, sorcerers, sexually immoral, murderers, idolaters, and whoever loves and practices a lie. Right? So, we need to start looking at that list alone and say, are we agreeing with those that are outside, the dogs, the sorcerers, the sexually immoral, the murderers, the idolaters, and whoever loves and practices a lie, because they had not a love of the truth. Right? So while this stuff may sound a little complicated, we're going to get there. And I don't want you to feel intimidated when you read the documents by all the terminology, because I just showed you how it's a lot of padding going on, fluff and stuff, and words that are meant to be confusing on purpose. But when you look at the way that they set the law up to work, the so-called system of justice that they enacted, if you harm someone and they prove that harm, you have to offer them a remedy. Okay? It's like an attempt to try to make them whole again. I use the example of the car accident. If you were to go and God forbid, I'm just using this as an accident, it's not a declaration. We're going to make our declarations for fires and storms and things after we leave here. But if you get into a car accident and both of you guys have insurance, the insurance companies will usually negotiate what the harm and the injury, the damages, the suffering, pain and suffering, right? And then compensate based on that. The same thing applies. You look at the criminal justice system, crime, punishment, restitution, right? So this is no different, and they cannot make this different because they feel like cooperating and being inclusive, because outside are the dogs, the sorcerers, murderers, idolaters, and those who love and practice a lie. And so with that being said, I hope that you leave here with something you feel encouraged to go and get ready with your opposition, right? Go to the website, share it with a family member, a loved one. And with that being said, Brother C, I'll turn it back over to you. I know we kept the people for a long time, and I heal anybody that's falling off the wall.
I appreciate you, sis. We're going to be back again next week. And this has been another Salt of the Earth Productions.